fixed your problem with the female figures. Are toy companies sexist? Welcome back, everybody, to another rant, rave, whatever you want to call it. It's a Ranger Reflection, though it's an odd one. Like our previous Ranger Reflection, which was actually a gamer reflection, this one's focusing on the toy end of Rangers as opposed to the show. So, as I showed on a previous video, in order to get to the articulation that already exists in my figurines, I had to take an X-Acto knife to the skirt, because it is hard plastic. But you can see that they had the full articulation there. So I took an X-Acto knife and just made a little cut. But as I was watching some videos from some other toy reviewers, I've always made this joke, but I noticed it really hasn't changed. Toy companies, for whatever reason, probably sexism, because you know little girls don't buy action figures. That's a boy's toy, and girls don't buy boys' toys, as we all know. But yeah, I've noticed this. I got several figures from several different lines across several years, and out of all of these figures, their articulation hasn't changed, even if they're the high-end SH figure arts. In fact, the only figure I have that has double-jointed knees is the SH figure art. And the only one out of all of them that has double-jointed elbows is one of the two SH figure arts. So, let's go through the line, timeline-wise. I got these several years ago. This is Star Sapphire Wonder Woman. As you can see here, big solid chunk, semi-flexible hair. No real articulation. There's no neck pivot. You know, it's an older toy. It's got a ball joint for the shoulder. It actually, interestingly enough, has a bicep cut. It's got a bicep rotation, which is very unusual for female figures, especially when this came out. Single jointed elbow, which will get you about 90 degrees. The only other articulation is a swivel at the wrist. No up and down, just swivel. She carries a violet lantern and whatnot. I got a violet lantern prop in the other room. In terms of body articulation, well, she has a diaphragm joint, but you can't get anything out of it beside of a waist twist. That's it. No other articulation in the torso. Not even like a waist cut. Nothing. Just a diaphragm twist, and that's it. For the legs, well, they go out a decent distance to the side. We'll give you some decent kick forward, single jointed knee, thigh rotation. And there is a boot hinge. No side to side, just a hinge. And the plastic feels kind of, well, shit, to be honest. At the same time, I also picked up Cheetah. She has no hair, so you think she'd have better head articulation. None. You can turn the head, make it go down. Can't make it go up at all. Has the same articulation in the arms. Exactly the same, actually. Got the bicep cut. Single jointed elbow, which will get you actually less than 90 degrees. To get to 90 degrees, you actually have to force it, and the plastic is so shoddy that you can actually bend it in the other direction. Can you do that with Wonder Woman? Kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta bend it backwards. But not really. But with Cheetah here, you can break her arm. And the plastic is really, really soft. Like super soft. And so is the arm. In fact, the arm joints are so soft you can easily pop the arm off the shoulder joint here without any real effort. I apologize if I look wet. It is like 80 degrees out here in Sacramento. So I'm a bit sweaty. I just jumped out of the shower as well. As you can see, we've got diaphragm. A little bit more in the chest here that we have workable. There is a diaphragm hinge. But as you can see here, it goes back that much. Get her crappy arms out of the way. Forward, none at all. We do get a waist twist, but it's a ugly cut waist twist. So it's not practically usable. She has a tail, and before anyone asks, she's not a furry. This is Minerva. She actually wears a suit, just like Catwoman wears a suit. And there's a swivel in the tail, but just right there. Because the rest is hard glued, and it's a really relatively soft material, but it's actually thicker than her hands. But there is no wire in it, so you can't pose it or anything. Legs go out a decent amount. Single jointed knee. Thigh cut. Hinge on the ankle. No pivot. So I got those several years ago. The next one I got was the Megaforce figures. We already looked at yellow. We'll look at yellow anyway, because they're exactly the same, yellow and pink, in terms of articulation. So we've got a ball joint in the shoulder. They're also significantly smaller. But that's different companies doing different things. Single jointed elbow. Twist in the hand. Now this is actually very hard plastic, so it doesn't do anything nearly like the Minerva figure does. But just a swivel. So this is literally the exact same articulation as a figure from several years ago. No articulation whatsoever in the torso, whatsoever. For the head, we can swivel it, we can spin it around, we cannot move it up or down, maybe a little bit. These actually have the same articulation as the male figures, but I mean, that's Bandai for you. You can move them back actually. Technically not, but due to the ball joint, you can look like you can break it, but not really. As I said, they actually do have the full articulation in the joints, allowing them to actually have a proper split, like so. Single jointed knee, calf rotation. But the plastic is super hard around the skirt. You can see here with pink, if I try to split the legs at all, that's the best I can get. Try to move even forward to a kick. Yeah, for a martial arts figure, she doesn't kick very well. But when I put the thigh cut in there, I can force it forward, because this plastic is still super hard. But I can force her forward into a full kick. Getting it up about that far. And that's literally, all I had to do was take an X-Acto knife to free up that articulation. Then, later on, I bought my Mighty Morphin figure art and repainted some of them. Here is Beth, the Black Ranger from MMPR 63. So we have got the butterfly joint, giving you some actual motion to bring the arm forward, across the chest. Swing it back. It's got a nice ball joint here. Lots of range of motion. Double jointed elbow. Ball joint in the hand, giving you full range of motion. The head can go down that far. Can look back a bit. Neck's got its own articulation. Figure arts are known for their articulation. And this is the only one that's actually made it stateside. There is a diaphragm joint. And they've got, this is actually where I got the idea for the split skirt. It's actually built into these skirts. So they have a little bit of extra material right there to sort of, when it splits forward, it actually can cover up the joint. You can drop the knee down to get more of a kick out of it. Full range. Double jointed knee with great range. We have got full ankle tilt. I've, of course, reviewed these in the past. This is all just a quick overview. But then we look at something a little bit more recent. Tiger and Bunny. Dragon Kid. The Dragon Kid's got a removable face, so you can pull the hair off. I did a review on Dragon Kid. You can see that if you want to see the details on all the articulation there. You know, you've got separate joints for the head and neck, so you got that full range there. You've got the butterfly joint here in the shoulder, but single jointed elbow, getting you 90 degrees at best. Diaphragm joint, like black, but no other articulation, no waist twist, nothing else, just the diaphragm joint. So we actually lost a joint in the torso. Legs are about the same. They're on that same... They actually lost the dropping hinge on this one, so you can't actually drop the hinge down, the leg down, to extend the kick. Still get relatively decent range, but... There is their double jointed knee, and as you can see, not the best in the world. And you do get a full ankle tilt. So I ask you, why the hell do all these toy companies seem to have such an aversion to the female form? That they won't spend more, they've basically been using the same mold for the last decade. The articulation in Dragon Kid from Bandai is roughly the same as the articulation for Star Sapphire Wonder Woman from Hasbro. This is about a decade old. This is larger than all of the other newer ones that I have, by a good margin. And yet the articulation is about the same. Yet, if you were to look at the male compatriots for these, always have more articulation. So I'll leave you with that, folks. Discuss in the comments below.